we're doing here today is making beams. I have to make an outhouse, and I wanted to construct it post and beam and use hand-hewn beams. This is eastern white pine, because we're in New Hampshire, and I'm going to square this thing up. What's nice about it is it only takes a few tools to do it. I've got 2 axes that I use. I've got 2 little cant hooks that help keep it stable from rolling around. Piece of string. This is the first axe that I'll be using. This is a scoring axe. It's got what they call a knife grind on it. It's ground on both sides. Not what you'd call a hewing axe, but this is a scoring axe. So because it had a nice straight bit, I put a good handle on it. And this is what you're gonna be chopping down the length of the log with this. Once that process is behind you, then I have a hewing axe with a brand new curved blade. After busting my knuckles a few times, I realized that there was a reason that they put curved blade handles on these things. This one here has what they call a chisel grind to it, as most hewing axes do. It means all the grind is on one side. This side is relatively flat. What's nice about this is it has a slight return. Along with the sweep of the blade, it's got a little bit of a return, and what that does is it keeps the blade from hooking into the beam more than you want it to. It actually lets it kind of skate along on the right plane. A couple of nails are handy. I take and set them in the middle, on both ends. And then expendable string is what you want, because there's a good chance you're going to cut it. And I've managed to cut every time. Now, just for safety's sakes, I don't think I'd stand there. This cant hook's kind of neat because when I made it, I flattened one end this way and the other one this way, because generally when you're trying to keep a beam or something from moving, you've got it laying on another beam or log with the grain going the other direction. So you set it up like that, drive it in. I just won't chop there just yet. That looks pretty good. Now in between, this is a butt log, so there's not a lot of limb whorls. Pine trees generally have a whorl of limbs and then a clear space and then another whorl of limbs. But when I do see tracings of limbs, I like to hit that place a couple extra times just to chew it up a bit. But I'm trying to cut every 2 inches on the average. They vary. But like right here, that's a whorl. There's a whorl. Now I've got the log so that all those hack marks I just made are on this side. I'm going to be cutting this way. Now I can put these bench dogs in. All right, so we're putting this one away for a minute. I'm going to get this guy going. And this axe you don't swing, okay? This is like my biggest chisel, my biggest carving tool right here. And you just use it, let the weight of the axe do it. All you're doing is lifting the axe back up. See if I can make it through this whole operation without cutting my string. Probably not. That's that scoring. Yeah. You want to choose it up nice, and then this just kind of pops it off. It's work, but it's not hard work. Having the nail in the middle of the log, I have learned, makes it much more convenient for moving the string. The first time I was doing it, I had the nails holding the string like right here, and when I came through on the end, I like pulled the nail out with the bit of my blade, and I was like, don't want that. So this is getting the thickness of the beam squared away, and that looks pretty good to me. Now we go back to the scoring blade.
You're doing the opposite side now.
Yeah, the opposite side. I get it to the right thickness, and then I can tip it up and have a better chance of making a square side on the third side. At this point, I got the string on this side because it's easier for me to see it than if it was on the back side. For the next step, the hewing off, I turn the log around. I'm glad they're small logs. I made a little cradle too that helps to hold things that are around. That's actually pretty important. So at this point I can look down this side that I've already done and make sure that it's relatively straight up and down, and that's what I'll gauge my work on this other side by. I was told we're supposed to be very serious, not joke around teaching people stuff.
Yeah.
Right, John?
John Levesque.
That's the one. I got so much pitch on my gloves that I can't let go of my axe sometimes. I've actually twisted my thumb. It's like, ow! This log has a natural curve to it.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So the string is going to straighten that out for me, but I have to hit it pretty hard through here and hardly touch it up there, and that's where you end up with what they call weenie edges or live edges, or depends on who's doing the talking, I guess.
With the bark still on it?
Yeah, that's it.
That pointed out there. I notice all your cuts, there's nothing straight in. They're always at like a 22-degree angle. I mean, obviously there's a reason for that. That's just, is it to raise them up like that, or?
It raises them up, and it also slices through the wood easier that way. And if you go straight into the wood will resist and pinch the blade, not allow it to go deep enough.
Yeah.
But if you go at an angle, then this piece lifts up and allows it to cut.
Basically critical to do it that way, and even when it comes to the next step.
Yeah, if this was any thicker, you know, if it was like I did one the other day that was really thick, and I actually cut notches down and left it looked like the back of a dragon, you know, you got all these bumps, and then you come along and knock them off. That's 3 down, 1 to go.
And now what do you do? Just knock the back off, just the...
Yeah, I take the little hatchet and scrape that off. Yeah, see, she's starting to want to let go. I'm hoping that by the time I get to the rafters, they'll be giving up the bark. So we take off every bit of bark, because if you don't, the pine borers will smell this wood and they'll know that they've got a chance of laying some eggs. And this is the cambium layer of the bark, which is the underbark. And when that starts to rot, it gets real squishy and makes a really good grow environment for eggs of this particular bug and a few others. But if you take off the bark and this understuff dries out, then it makes it less appealing, as I am appealing here.
You are appealing.
Don't want no bugs. Yep, we're beaming. So there it is, one more for the pile. Decided rather than laying them down, rain will stay on them less if I stand them up, because rain is what turns the wood gray, And it'd be
Yeah.
pretty to see them blonde and covered. I've seen a lot of hewn beams, but they're usually all very dark from
Can
smoke.
you do something on it to make it not turn gray or rot? Or?
The only thing I would say is to put it under cover and keep the rain off of it. 27 more to go. We'll be all set. Shaven haircut.